early on in my career as an engineer, when I was just starting, I'd get a new recording and I'd go home and I'd sit down in my, highly tweaked system and sit in the middle and listen to it and analyze it and figure out, what it was doing and what I liked and what I didn't like. But I caught myself and realized that I was getting to a point where I wasn't liking music. It was listening to all the other stuff. So what I began to do then was purposely put something on in another room and listen that way. It's something I learned, and I again would tell my students: so you never lose sight of your audience. Never lose sight of your audience. Those are the people that are going to determine whether it's successful or not. So, so when I say that, I say when I go to the studio and I have referencing, there's some things that I listen to for placement. There's some things that I listen to for frequency response, and there's some things that I just listen to because I like the way they make me feel. And as I move around the control room, my listening is between the speakers, but it's also everywhere that I'm working in that room, because that's the way that I work. You're over by the rack adjusting an EQ on something, well, you're listening to the whole thing in some sort of context. So, so it's about, getting all those marks about how wide it is, where the center is, what the vocal sounds like, and being familiar and very detailed about that. But then there's about how does this feel in here? Because ultimately that's how you're measuring what you're doing. So for kind of feel and sonic properties, I really like Miles Davis' Tutu record, which I think was mixed by a guy named Eric Calvi. For this, and for sheer feel and kind of very dense mix that sounds different on just about every speaker you listen to. There's a group called Rise, Robots Rise. I don't even know if it's available anymore, but I know for a fact it was mixed on NS10s. And it's just a very intriguing CD to me, because it does literally sound, you hear different things on different speaker systems, but it feels great. There's a CD that I did. I mean, what I tend to do is I listen to other people's work a lot, and this is in terms of me referencing in the studio, and then I might listen to one or two things that I've done because I know them and I know what I did. But it's pretty demoralizing to hear something that sounds so great and then listen to something you did. It's like So I try not to juxtapose them too much. I basically I go from the feel good, sounds okay to something I did, so I don't have to listen next to Bob Clearmountain or Al Schmidt. So. The Rise Robot Rise in that category. The one that I did is a CD by a guy named Martin Sexton. It's called Black Sheep, and it was done really quickly, and it sounds really good. It's some of the best work ever I did, and I know intimately what is there. So that's really for the critical placement, depth, sonic quality, all that stuff. Recently I've been listening to Paul Anka's record by Al Schmidt. It came out last year, which I think is an amazing recording. There's a Chic record that I like, Chicism. I think it was done by James Farber, and the opening track on that, called Your Love, is just fantastic for low end and basic feel and impact. Al Schmidt I already mentioned, but what I listen to him for is depth. In terms of sound stage, it's like, is it, all that incoherence? Am I hearing it out of the speaker system?